real estate speculations and the selling of his image that was used on the postal stamps in Germany at the time. I'm sure he had some other ways of making money as well, but I don't know what they were. I can only imagine. Selling hair for soap. I don't know who got that money, but I know that someone did. On June 21st, 1939, Hitler set up that special commission, the Linz Commission. It was set up in Dresden, and he appointed Dr. Hans Posse, or Posse, P-O-S-S-E, the director, as the special envoy for that. I have an envoy in my book. His name is Brute Skeller. You'll meet him in chapter 2. Quite the fellow. The commission not only collected art for the Führer Museum, but also for the other museums in German Reich territory, especially in the Eastern territories. The artworks would have been distributed to these museums after the war. So they were storing them and just waiting until everything, settled down, and then they could get them set up. The Allies actually found a number of hiding places for the looted art, including the famous salt mine at Altusee in the Austrian Alps, which contained some 12,000 stolen artworks, including the Ghent altarpiece by Jan van Eyck, the number one target that Hitler wanted as the centerpiece for his museum, both because of its beauty, fame, and importance, but also because it had been forcibly repatriated to Belgium from Germany by the Treaty of Versailles, and seizing it back would right this perceived wrong against the German people. So even though somehow they had it and it belonged to Belgium, and then they got it back, Belgium got their own painting back. I guess Hitler said, hey, once ours, always ours, regardless of how we got it. I know he did feel that way since he was stealing everyone's art and killing them and just taking all their wealth away from them. In 1945, the famous group of the Monument Men, as you know from the movie, which if you have not seen, you must see, because it sets up my book, basically. It's all about the loot that was stolen from the conquered territories during the Third Reich. Anyway, they had heard rumors of art theft and looting through the war. This is in 1945. They had no idea of its scale. Now, some estimate that around 5 million cultural objects were looted, lost, or mishandled during the war. Also, the advanced level of organization was shocking. And my character, Rolf, was pretty dang organized. And you'll see that when you read his story. The scores of Nazi officers and hundreds of soldiers were assigned exclusively to confiscation, transport, and maintenance of looted art. Therein lies my character, Rolf. And they had to archive it and take photographs of it, as I said earlier. For Hitler, his art museum in Linz was the real deal, the true evidence of his megalomania. If that sounds similar to anything that's going on in this day and age, just feel free to make your own conclusions. Yeah, so I talked about, I didn't talk about the final solution, and I don't think I'll go there in this because it's getting a little bit of longer than I expected it to be. And I told you about the whole arena at Kristallnacht. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for now, and hopefully this is interesting to you at all and will make you possibly watch The Monument Men if you haven't seen that. Do a little studies about Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, as they call it in English. And then just get a little bit of a better idea of maybe where Hitler got all of his ideas, what philosophers he was studying, who kind of put some of these ideas into his head. Although I do have to say that he is not solely alone for the final solution that was settled in Wannsee, a city outside of Berlin. By the way, you can see the clip of that actual meeting on my Facebook page, under the last snapshot Facebook page. I did find that, I think it's made with real clips. It's a documentary, and it's the Wannsee conference. Actually, one of my characters went to that conference, as I recalled when I was notating that video that I found online. I was like, yeah, I know all about that conference because my character went there, and it was a very shadowy thing, and I'll have to find that clip and put it out there as well sometime. Anyway, there's a lot of things to learn, and the reason it's important, I think, is it seems like, I mean, it doesn't seem like, in fact, it is that war continues to go on and on and on and on and on and on, and humans don't ever seem to learn anything. And the megalomaniacs, and narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths continue to move to the top of the food chain because we let them, because we don't know how to identify these people that have no empathy, no sympathy, no remorse, no guilt, no compassion. And we need to begin to have enough information and do enough study and research to be able to save ourselves. And the reason that I know something about it is because I had to study it for a number of years because of a personal situation that I was in. Very heartbreaking. But once you learn about narcissists, as in NPD, not as in selfishness, NPD and narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, and how they're all very close, but the actions that they take to manipulate, they're master manipulators. They don't have any inner steering wheel that says, oh, I shouldn't say this because this person will lose their job, or I shouldn't say this because it might hurt somebody's feelings. It's not about that. It's about what they want. They want it now, how they're going to get it, what they have to say to get it, whether that makes sense or not doesn't matter. If it hurts somebody or not, that doesn't matter. If it ruins somebody's life, that doesn't matter. So it is very important because it's a rising problem in this country. Narcissists, sociopaths are a rising, increasing percentage of the population. The last book I read on it was called The Narcissist Epidemic. And I was reading 3 books at the time, so I'm not positive it was that book. But one of the books said, the other one I read was The Sociopath Next Door. It was extremely fast read, very interesting. One of those books said that 20% of the population is now considered to be a narcissist sociopaths. Psychopaths are a little bit in a field of their own, but really they're all 3 now put into one category called antisocial personality disorder. They all have little tweaks, so they're a little bit different. Like you could just have NPD, or you could have NPD, narcissist sociopath. You could be just a sociopath. Well, that'd be pretty hard without the narcissist part, or you can be a psychopath. All of those have the same traits. And the traits include, like I just said, no empathy or very, very little ability to identify with other people, as in empathy, no sympathy, no compassion, or very, very, very little, or it's faked because they use mimicry in order to survive because their brain function isn't working properly. No guilt, no remorse, no sorrow, and they don't learn anything, but they're extremely master manipulators. So that's just a little hint. Please go out and study that subject for yourself. And even though that wasn't my intention to bring it up tonight, I'm really glad that I did, because I think that is actually probably other than climate change, the biggest horror that people have to face while they're living through this life on this planet at this time. So please check back with me. I hope you like this. I know I ramble on sometimes. I'm sorry about that. But I really appreciate buying my book. My book, The Last Snapshot, available on Amazon. You can get it in an ebook, and that I'm running a special on that really soon. I think it's 99 cents. And then there's a paperback as well. And I'm working on the audiobook, on the Audible book. And so that should be done in the next month, I think. So say the end of March, for sure in April of 2019. And then I'm looking for the right film producer to put this into a movie, because I believe it incorporates a lot of things that happened during the war. The characters are very well delineated. People get attached to the characters quite readily. It's a very fast-paced and fast-moving book, I'm told by my readers. And that's what I intended to do. That's why I paid an expensive editor to teach me how to do that trick. And it's a very shocking ending, although reasonable. And then there is the sequel. And then there is the next 3 books after that, which are the Neon Gods books that are also have Rena involved, at least in book 3 and maybe 4. So, yeah, check one of those books. They're not available at the library right now, but you can buy them on Amazon. It's not expensive. Write me, you know, if you have any questions, put it down here in the bottom of the notes down here. I'm not going to block that. I hope that I've helped somebody today to maybe have some more interest in the World War II and what happened during the Holocaust. And because the Holocausts continue, you know, all over Africa right now, we're having Holocaust. Yemen, it's so brutal. I'm just beyond myself with sorrow for those folks. And those babies just turning into skeletons and dying from starvation, which is done deliberately by Saudi Arabia with our weapons that we sold them. So, you know, I don't want to get on any kind of like anti-war horse or something here, but people keep doing this, and it's always about the other. The other. They're a group. They need to be wiped out. It's like the two T's and the whatever that group. I mean, it's just like goes on and on and on. And, you know, at some point, it needs to be addressed why we keep doing this. And we're doing it in our own country to each other now. The other, you know, whether it's by opinion or color, you know, race, religion, the other. Oh, you know, it's pitting people against each other instead of bringing us together. So that's kind of what I'm about and what my books are about. So I hope that you will stick with me, support me in this endeavor, and I thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far. Okay, well, we'll talk to you later. Take care. I'll be posting book 2 tomorrow. I mean, chapter 2 tomorrow. So I'm reading that, like the whole thing. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.